Daf Samach Gimel on the base with Mamish at the end of the Masechta. We will be starting Be'ezrat Hashem very soon. Sukkah. All right, so we're 6 lines from the bottom of Samach Gimel on the base. Posach Rabbi Yossi b'Chovad Achsana. So we're back in the story. They were all in Yavne, and each one of the Chacham got up and gave a little drasha where he spoke about, b'Chovad Achsana, praising the host. Whenever you get up to speak, you always start off by praising the host. Someone there is hosting you, praise the host. So this is what he said. He started praising the host and he said, the Dorash. He said, do not be disgusted. Do not hate. Do not whatever. Edoimi. Someone from Edom. They are your brothers. They are brothers. Don't hate them. Don't be disgusted by them. Let's serve Mitzri and don't hate the Egyptians. You are a ger in his land. You are a stranger in his land. We were in Egypt for many, many years. And we ate their food. We slept in their houses. So everyone thinks this means that we were there for 400 years, right? We were there for 210 years, however long we were there for. We were there for, depending from when you count. We were slaves for a couple hundred years, but they came down from Yaakov and his sons and went down from Mitzrayim. We were there for many years. Altogether, we were there for 400 years. And therefore, we were there for hundreds of years. You can't hate them. We live in their country. Whatever they did wrong to us, they enslaved us. You still got to appreciate that. But the Mefarshim say that's not what's going on over here. We don't have to appreciate the years we were there as slaves. Of course not. That's ridiculous. But we do have to appreciate we were there for a couple hundred years when Yaakov and his sons came down to Mitzrayim and Yosef was the king. It was a couple hundred years before they became slaves. They lived in their country. The Jews lived in Egypt. We lived there, we ate their food, we stayed in their houses, we benefited from their economy. They had a great time there, right? So therefore you can't hate the Egyptians forever. We're not allowed to hate the Egyptians. We lived in their country. They hosted us. So the gemorah says, and the gemorah says, and listen to this, all the more so. Why do the Egyptians let the brothers of Yosef come down and live in Egypt? They didn't do it because they wanted to be kind to them. They wouldn't say, oh, bring your brothers down, we want to help them out, we want to help you out. Parai told Yosef, bring down your family for his own purposes, for his own needs. There's something, Mikna, if your brothers are like you, bring down your brothers. They're going to rule the country, you're just going to become great. Hi. So the Anshechai, something, Mikna ala Shali. Let them, your brothers will come, they'll manage the economy in Egypt, they'll be great. So Paro didn't invite the Jews down, Yaakov, his sons, to come down to live in Mitzrayim in order to help them out. He wanted to help himself out. And still, we say you can't hate an Egyptian. We got to like them. We got to appreciate what they did for us. They hosted us. All the more so, someone that hosts a rabbi in his house, and he feeds him, he gives him place to sleep, and he food and drink, and he benefits him from his property. Allah has come. All the more so you have to appreciate it. All the more so you have to appreciate what this guy does for you. If we have to appreciate the Egyptians, that they hosted us for all those years, but it was for their own benefit. So all the more so you have to appreciate someone that hosts you if it's for your benefit. He's doing it for you. So you see from here, it doesn't say, even though they enslaved us, you still got to appreciate it. It doesn't say that, because that was a different part. It was a different time. It was a different kufa. Because that's what, if we were talking about the fact you've got to appreciate that they hosted us, even though we were slaves there for a couple of hundred years, the Gemorah said, even though we were slaves, but still we ate their food, so we should appreciate it. It doesn't say that. It says, even though it's talking about the fact that he brought down Yaakov and his sons, and he wanted them to be Sari Mikna. He wanted them to be in charge of the economy there. So you see from that that's what we're talking about, right? I've heard a lot of people misquote this gemorah. That's why I'm pointing it out. Of course, you don't have to appreciate people who hosted you while you were enslaved there. That's the basic Pashut Pshat Gemara. The Mefarshim also say that very clearly. That's the Pshat Gemara. I don't know why people misunderstand this, but it's a very common. I've heard this quoted many times, erroneously, that we've got to appreciate the Egyptians even though we were slaves there. Maybe what they mean is, even though after we got to appreciate the fact before we were slaves, even though after they were terrible to us, they enslaved us, we still got to appreciate the fact that we were there. Maybe that's what they mean. I didn't hear anyone saying it like that. They said we got to appreciate it. We were there for a couple hundred years, even though we were slaves. But it's also interesting. Even though we got to appreciate the first couple of hundred years, even though the last couple of hundred years were really bad, we still got to appreciate that we were there. For a couple of hundred years, there was good guys there who treated us well. Pari treated us well. The first Pari, we got to appreciate that. Even though later generations were horrible, well, okay. So it says a gemorah. Pasuk Rebbe Elazar ben Asher b'Yesi Aglili. Now the next one, Rebbe Elazar the son of Yesi Aglili b'Chavadachsanya, in honor of the host, the Dorish, and this is what he learned. He said, "V'yivarach Hashem es Oved Edom." Hashem blessed Oved Edom ba'avur Aron Elokim. He blessed Oved Edom because they had within its midst the Aron Elokim, the Aron. They took in the Aron. They after the war, the Jews used to take the Aron to the Milchama, and they ran away, and they left the Aron there, and they took in the Aron with the Luchei Sabris, right? So the Gemara says, "V'ledvarim kal v'chaymer." We can learn that from this. Something important, drasha. Ma Aron shaloi acha v'shasa. Elekibed v'ritz v'lefanov. The Aron doesn't eat, doesn't drink, doesn't need a bed, right? They didn't do anything with the Aron. They just hosted the Aron. They put it in the living room, right? What do? At Moses, they kibbutz v'ribetz. They swept the floor, right? That's all they did. They cleared some space. They swept the floor. They put it in the Aron. They had tremendous merit for the Aron. They treated it with tremendous respect, right? But if you host the Talmud Chacham, if you host a rabbi, and you feed them, you give them to drink, you let them benefit from your couch, from your bed. Alachas kama v'kama, all the more so you're going to be blessed if you host Talmud Chacham. Mai bracha shebirchai. What is the bracha? Amar Yehuda bas Zvida. Zu chamais v'chai kalaseh sheyaldu shisha b'karas echad. What was the bracha that they got? Sheyaldu shisha b'karas echad. This Oved Edom, his wives, his children, whatever it was, they had 6 children. Every pregnancy they had 6 kids. Six tuplets, I don't know how you call it, right? See, it's a bracha. Some people are nervous. They have triplets. They get nervous. No, it's a bracha. You have 6. It's a bracha. That was a bracha they got. They hosted the Aron. They had 6 b'karas echad. Shenema pa'alti ashmini. Pa'alti ashmini. The 8th. Pa'alti. I activated, I guess, the 8th. V'ksiv giborcho aloikim, because Hashem blessed him. Kol eile Kol eile mivnei la'oved Edom, hemo bnei ma'acheihem anshe chal b'koyach la'avoda shishim v'shnayim lo'ovdei Edom. They were all strong men, warriors. All his kids were warriors, and there were 62 of them. So I guess she had 8 baths, and each one had 6 kids or whatever the math is. A lot of kids. Rashi makes the whole cheshbon over here. We won't go into it. Okay. This is a very important principle over here. I can't explain to you how important this principle is. I'm so surprised to see it here, but it's such an important principle in life. If you push the hour will push you. It'll push back. If you get pushed away by the time, by the hour, the time will get pushed away because of you. In other words, if you push back against the clock, you're going to lose. Meaning what? Rabbi Yehuda, can you tell me the air conditioning? Hi. So what's he saying? He's saying like this. When times are rough, right? You're trying to make a deal. Times are rough. You're trying to make something happy. It doesn't work, right? If you fight back, you push it, you make it, you force it, you want it to happen, you push. You say, I'm not going to take no for an answer. I want this deal to happen. You work too hard, you go crazy. It ain't going to work. It's not going to work. In other words, the Hashkacha protest, you have to establish, you have to work hard. You got to do what you got to do, right? But to do more than you're supposed to be doing, it ain't going to help. The Eibusher doesn't want that. The Rebbe Shalom wants you to do what you're supposed to do, and that's it. If you keep pushing, it's not going to help. You're just going to make things worse. And that's the idea. You think it might not make things worse. So as a gemorah, no, it's going to make things worse. If you fight back against what the natural course of events, I'm not going to accept this. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to the time's going to push you. You're never going to get there. If you fight now, you're never going to make it in the end. But if you say, listen, I tried, I did what I could, it didn't work out, I'm stepping back. I'm not going to try any harder. Then eventually you'll be successful. Then eventually it'll be your time. Everyone's got their time. Everything's got their time and their place. If you push back and you fight and you try and make it happen now, then it'll never happen. If you say, I'll wait, then it's going to happen. If you makabel, basically you makabel Gzeres Hashem, you makabel what Hashem's sending you. You say, okay, this is what he wants now. So eventually he's going to send what you wanted. He'll eventually do what you want. You see this a lot in fighting and machlekes with people, in arguments like we have now, peace deals. If you're fighting, you're pushing, you want every single thing you want, and you're not willing to give up anything, eventually you're going to push the guy away. You'll never make peace. It'll never happen. If you say, you know what, right now I'll give in, I'll do a little bit, I'll step back. So eventually you'll get what you need, you'll get what you want. The idea is to don't do more than you're supposed to do, don't do more than you're stadless. So says gemorah, where do we see this from? With the Rabba of Rav Yosef. Rabba and Rav Yosef said this. Rav Yosef Sinai, Rabba Eikeharim. There were two greats. Rabba and Rav Yosef were two great Amoraim. So one was a Sinai. Rav Yosef was Sinai. Sinai means he knew everything. He knew all the Makaras. He had encyclopedic knowledge of Torah. He knew all the sources. Rabba was someone, his great mind, he could uproot the mountain with his great mind. He was able to understand everything and able to uproot everything. So two totally different minds. One is a Baki, one is a Amkan. One knows on the surface level everything. The other one knows much less. But he's able to, through pilpul, to get to everything and to ask kashas, right? So it's Richel Shaita. So basically what happened? They needed Rosh Yeshiva. They needed to take a new leader. So who should be the leader? The person who knows everything, or the person that's who's got the brains to the depth. So they asked, who should be the Rosh Yeshiva? So sorry, I lost space of it. So they said to him, the Eikaharim is Tzrichulu Shaita. Everyone needs Eikaharim. You always need to know the sources, what's going on. You need to know the basics. So everyone needs the basics. So Shachala, Sinai Kaidem, who comes first? Shachala, Sinai Kaidem, Shakal Tzrichem Lemarichita. They said to him, you know who's first? The Sinai. They sent back, I guess, Red Yisrael. Sinai comes first, the one that has a tremendous general knowledge. Why? Because everyone needs Marichiti. Everyone needs wheat. In other words, knowing everything, that's like the bread and butter. right? He knows the cream. He's got the cream, he's got the lumdas, he's got the umkas, but everyone needs bread. Sinai is the bread. That's the bread and butter. So even though they said you need to, Sinai has to go fast, race to the Sinai, he said, no, I don't want. The Amrlei, he said, I'm not interested. The Amrlei, Kilidoi Malchus Otatishnin Malach, Rabba Esem Otatishnin Malach. Sorry. So, Apapichin like Yibel of Yosef, the Amrlei Kaldoi, the Kaldoi, they say the dreamers, some type of future, people of the new future, the Kaldoi, whoever it is, Malchus straight in Shenein, you're going to be a king for 2 years, and then you're going to, then he said to him, they told Rav Yosef, he's going to be the king, he's going to be the ruler for 2 years, then he's going to go to the Ilam Emes, he's going to kick the bucket. So he wasn't interested. So Rabbah Esim Etatishnin Malach, and Rabbah's going to be the king, the ruler for 22 years. So what happened? So Rabbah was a king for 22 years, and then Rav Yosef became the ruler for 2.5 years. So the Gemara says for the 22 years that Rabbah was the ruler, and Rav Yosef knew that he's going to be the ruler afterwards, right? He didn't even tell someone, he didn't order Umna to his house. He didn't bring a blood letter to his house. Umna is a blood letter, or anyone that works. He did everything. He didn't want to act with any type of leadership, any type of sorora, any type of godless. So he didn't do even the basic. He didn't want to, he's acting like he's the ruler. He acted like super humble. He's not the ruler. Even though they wanted him to be the ruler. They said he should be the king. He said, no, I'm not taking the job. Why? He knew 2 years and then he's dead. He said, you know what? So what's the idea? The idea is, the Gemara is saying, from here we see that don't push the time. He got an extra 22 years of life because he didn't want to be king right then. He didn't want to be the leader right then. He said, I'll wait. He's lived another 22 years. So sometimes you push something and you want it to happen right now. It's not the time. That's what he's saying. His gzera was, after he's 2 years, that's it. He kicks the bucket. So there's no point in pushing it. Wait your turn. That's what you say there. Wait your turn. Don't go out of every way to make things happen before the time. Okay. All right, says the Gemara. Amar Rabbi Avin Alevi Maidich. What does it mean when it says Yanch Hashem b'Mitzrayim Eskev Hashem Alei Yaakov? Hashem should answer you in a day of affliction. Yesagevcha Shem Eloi Yaakov. The God of Yaakov should help you. Eloi Yaakov Eloi Avram. Why only the God of Yaakov, not the God of Avram? The Yitzchak, God of Yitzchak. Why only the God of Yaakov? So Gemara says, Mekana Bal Kaira, Shekanas Bav Yeshal Kaira. This tells us that someone who owns the Kaira, someone who owns the beam, right? You've got a big beam. No one can carry it by himself. So you get someone else to help you. So sometimes they can help me carry the beam, and then you stand on the side. You let them do all the work. If it's your beam, you should stand Bav Yeshal Kaira. You stand on the thick part of the Kaira. You're the guy that's schlepping. It's your beam, you carry the bulk of the weight. So Yaakov, he had the 12 Shvatim. He was the one who was closer to Klal Yisrael. So he's got to carry Klal Yisrael. More than Yitzchak and Yaakov. Yeah, them also. But he is, since we are Bnei Yisrael, we're not Bnei Avram, we're not Bnei Yitzchak, we're Bnei Yisrael. So he should stand he should support us. Vomer of Avin Alevi. If you enjoy in a meal that a Talmud Chacham is partaking in, it's like you would name as a Vashchina, like you enjoy the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They sat down, they ate with Chayse Moshe, with Yisrael, Lifnei Aleikim, before Hashem. Did they eat in front of Hashem? Well, if they ate in front of Moshe. Why did they ate in front of God? If you partake in a meal that the Talmud Chacham is part of it, it's like you partake in a meal with the Shechina. I'm not sure if this is because it means that you're feeding the Talmud Chacham. It's your meal, you're feeding the Talmud Chacham, so therefore it's like you're partaking with the Shechina. Or not, just the fact that he's there. Just the fact that eating at a table with a Talmud Chacham, you're benefiting from his Torah, from his wisdom, from his light, from his peace, from his, the shines coming off his face. It's like you enjoyed sitting with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. V'amar Reb Avin HaLevi, another name from Reb Avin HaLevi. And if the B'chavera, you leave your friend, Al Yom Alai Leich B'Shalom. Don't say go in peace. Leich B'Shalom. Don't go in peace. Ela Leich L'Shalom. Go to peace. Shari, what's the difference? Go in peace means your journey should be in peace. Go to peace means you should get to the place in peace. That place you go to should be peace. So maybe the journey shouldn't be in peace, but only the place you get to should be peace. No, if he gets there, that means the journey was also in peace. So it's not going to say just go, your journey should be peaceful. The destination should be peaceful. And then also the journey should be peaceful, obviously. So how do we know this? Yisrael. Again, another thing from Mr. Shari. Yisrael, Shalom Le'Moshe Leich L'Shalom Olav HaHatzlach. Olav HaHatzlach. Yisrael said to Moshe, go to peace. So Moshe was successful. David said to his son Avshalom, Leich B'Shalom, go in peace. Halach v'nitla, he went, his hair got caught up in a tree, and he got killed. So the Mepharshim say it doesn't mean because, so why did David say that? David didn't know this. So some say he said it by mistake, it was shkaga. Others say no. There was nothing wrong with it because these two stories happened. Now we say it's better to say go, it's a nice thing to say go in peace, go to peace. He said go in peace. But interesting kasha. Why did David say it? Same thing if someone's partaking from someone that's sick, you shouldn't say you should go to your fathers in peace. Someone that leaves shul and goes to the Beis HaMedrash, he goes to study Torah. He'll be Zeicha, he'll merit to receive the Torah, the Shechina. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence. You go from strength to strength. Yira Elokim B'Tzion, you'll see God in Zion. Amar B'Chia Barashi, Amar Rav, Talmid Chachamim. Talmid Chachamim, Ein Lehem Menucha Le'Ba'olam Hazeh, Le'Ba'olam Haba. Talmid Chachamim don't have peace, not in this world, not in the next world. Shnamar, Yelchem B'Chayil Chal. They'll go from Chayil, from strength to strength, or from battle to battle. Basic shot. When you learn Torah, you create peace in the world. That's what we're here for, is peace. That's his bracha. But some say what it means is it's a gather of Talmud Chacham. If you see a Talmud Chacham that creates machlekes all the time, that's not a Talmud Chacham. A Talmud Chacham is someone that creates peace. Rav Shalom Boy Noach, Talmud Chacham has to be always searching to make peace and to bring people together, not to create machlekes and distance everyone. Shalom Rav Lo Yahavei Sarsecha Ve'ein Lomai Michshal. Tremendous peace to those who love Torah. Ve'ein Lomai Michshal, they have no stumbling blocks. Yishon B'Chelech Shal V'Bam Nesayich. There should be peace in your home. Shal V'Bam Nesayich. Shalva in your castles. L'manach Ha'ivrea L'daber Hashem Baruch. So, for my brothers and friends, I'll speak peace to you. L'man Beis Hashem Elokeinu Avak Shotov Lach. For the house of Hashem, I'll request peace for you. So I guess we'll finish the last line when we do a siyum over here. And basically, Hadron Achareya. Wow, Shkoyach has been a tremendous journey. I loved learning Masechet Brachos. It's been fantastic. True passion. I enjoyed every day. I have to be honest with you. I don't know if I've ever enjoyed learning something so much in my life. It was just delicious. Everyone was delicious. And good chaysh to everyone. We will be starting Masechet Sukkah. Very exciting. 8:30. See you here. And have a good chaydish, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
So when's the scene?